now entering day 3 of the government shutdown, and President Trump is shouting out Democrats on Truth Social for giving him such an unprecedented opportunity to cut federal spending. And Republicans are placing their confidence in Office of Management and Budget Director Russ Vought to help decide what's on the chopping block.
Russ is the expert. He's our dear friend, and he's in an unenviable situation. It's not one that he relishes. We've always wanted to limit the size and scope of government, but we'd rather do it through the legislative process and not under duress like this. But Russ Vought has been given the authority to do this, and he's been given that authority by one man. His name is Chuck Schumer. Okay? Chuck Schumer led the Democrats in the Senate to hand that pen to Russ Vought.
Florida Congressman Mike Karadopoulos joins me now. Congressman, good morning to you. It's great to see you. This is an interesting one because shutdowns aren't popular and the idea of job cuts aren't either. So do you think that people potentially losing their jobs during a government shutdown is the right way to go?
No, I think the goal of the whole situation is to keep the government open. Think about it in the most general way. People pay taxes. They expect services. It's that simple. Unfortunately, Chuck Schumer has forgotten his entire career at this point, where he said that literally shutdowns are idiocy. Well, welcome to that reality now. And so with this reality, we're going to have to look at tough decisions moving forward. And this is why it's so important that the OMB director gets it right. Fortunately, he knows the budget from A to Z, and maybe he'll look at some opportunities with the DOJ to look for ways to cut wasteful spending, since we're in this literally idiocy situation.
Yeah, we showed it just a minute ago. The president posted on Truth Social yesterday morning, I have a meeting today with Russ Vought to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. So which agencies and jobs, Congressman, do you think are on the chopping block?
Well, I think that one that's really ripe for this is some of the foreign policy money that we spent. Marco Rubio has done a remarkable job as Secretary of State, but there's a lot of these programs where we spend money overseas that don't really give benefit to Americans right here at home. And so I would think he'd be looking at those programs. He also wants to make sure that any DEI programs that are still floating around are still eliminated. We want to focus on growing the economy. And what's frustrating for me as a new member of Congress is that we're finally on an economic roll. The economy is growing at 3.8%, a number a lot of people thought never possible. We know about the record stock market right now, booming. We know also about interest rates coming down and trillions, not billions, but trillions of dollars being invested here in America. And what did the Democrats choose to do? To shut down this economic roll. I hope that the Democrats will find the votes today to finally open up the government. I think it's pretty optimistic. Of course, now we have 3 Democrats that are on our team in the Senate. Let's get this government open and continue this economic roll that Donald Trump has brought in and what Republicans promised back in November.
Yeah, and the president could say, listen, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, if you don't want these cuts that could impact people in your own party, send a couple Democrats our way in the Senate and let's reopen the government. Maybe it won't happen. Could that be the strategy here?
It's got to be, right? I mean, you think in a most common sense way. Why would people want to shut down the government? I mean, in the end, this is what a lot of viewers don't realize sometimes, that these people have been furloughed. They're going to get back paid even though they didn't show up to work. Let's get to work. Let's build this economy. Let's really empower individuals to really make a difference in this world. And Republicans have made a set of promises, which I'm really proud about this year. We said we'd shut down the border. We did it. We said that we'd make sure we stopped the largest tax increase in history. We did it. What's the Democrat alternative? They said, we're going to shut down the government unless you pay our ransom note of new spending of $1.5 trillion. It just shows the priorities of Republicans versus Democrats. We want to keep the government open. You paid for these services. The Democrats are saying Washington, D.C. needs more money. I mean, give me a break. So this is why the OMB has this incredible opportunity to look throughout the government and say, how can we save money and focus our energy on what really matters? A strong military, a strong economy, and, of course, keeping our streets safe, which simply was not happening the last few years.
Well, 11:30 this morning, the Senate floor is going to open. There is going to be another vote, so we will see if this one sticks. Congressman Mike Karadopoulos, we thank you so much for joining us.